The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
So we've got Gideon Skinner here, the owner of Skinner Fence. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's good to have you. So what makes someone go into the fence business?
I guess just doing all of the other different outdoor home services, and eventually we just I saw this one and I was like, I like providing this. Landscaping is great. It looks nice, but I wanted to provide a service that people needed. So if you have a young kid, you have a dog, you need security or privacy.
Or a young dog.
It's an essential, exactly. It's an essential service that somebody is going to need, and you want to make sure you're providing the best quality product for them so they have that peace of mind that when they let their dog out in the backyard or they let their kid go out and play in the backyard, that nobody's going to get out or no one's going to come in.
We need a fence so when Steve goes in the backyard.
Hey, maybe.
Keep Steve out of the backyard.
There we go. So in the middle of winter, you must be sitting around with your feet up, right?
No, we're still building. Yeah, a little bit slower. Definitely cold, but we're still building. Weather dependent. But if there's snow on the ground, it doesn't really bother us. We definitely try and keep the guys not going out in these crazy cold weathers we've had the last couple of weeks. But no, we still build year round.
Yeah. Last time you were telling us about your process and the way you put it in. It's very different than some other people that have done it historically. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So I came across this system, and where you drive a steel post in, you drive it 4 feet down, commercial grade steel, and then we build any type of fence on that. So when I looked at a typical fence, if you go into any neighborhood and look at the fences falling over or the fences that are breaking, you typically see a post that's heaved out of the ground or it's broken and falling over from rotting. So I wanted to solve all of those problems within the fence system so that people can pay the same or less and get a fence that's going to last them a lot longer and be safer for a lot longer.
So putting it in, is it simpler or more complex when you put it in?
It's a lot simpler and a lot cleaner. You're not going to have dirt. You're not going to dig in holes. We drive a post in. Your fence is done, within 1 to 2 days. And the fence looks like it's been there forever.
Because, that must be nice.
Yeah, there's no dirt. You can't even tell that we came in and put that fence in a week later.
So what about when it comes to frost lines and all those things that people get all
about? Yeah. The frost line was definitely an issue up here in Syracuse with our current fence system. And with our post, that doesn't matter because the frost line only affects the concrete base that gets put into the ground. The water will go underneath that concrete base and freeze year over year, and it eventually lifts that up, and that's how you get posts that start to fall over. When you put a steel post in and you don't have that big concrete base in there, and the ground freezes, it actually holds that fence in stronger during these harsh winter months.
Okay, so I'm a simple guy. Don't say anything to that, Sonia. I'm a simple guy.
I didn't say anything. So I just shot you a look.
I did shoot me the look. So you're driving metal into the ground.
Yeah.
I want a wooden fence.
Yep. So we built a custom wood box that slides over that steel post. So it looks exactly like a standard wood fence. You would not even know that there's steel underneath there.
Okay, so I don't see it at all.
You will not see that at all.
Okay, so how does that affect the way my yard, you talked about heaving and things, those things don't happen?
Those things do not happen. So a lot of areas will also have a lot of standing water in their yard, or they'll have very wet ground. And when you put put concrete in to hold that post in, that concrete is not going to be as strong as it should be from having too much water in there. So a lot of times those fences will fail a lot quicker. So when you drive a steel post in, and you don't have to deal with the problems of concrete or the heaving or the frost line from the water being in the ground, your fence is going to last a lot longer, and that post is never going to go anywhere. You could have that fence replaced in 40 years and use the exact same steel post that we put in 40 years prior and just put a new fence on it.
That's different. So we're speaking with Gideon Skinner, owner of Skinner Fence. If you were looking to get a quote for the spring or maybe even sooner than that, You can reach them at 878-1437, which is also skinnerfence.com. So what's the thing you try to talk people out of? That in their head, they said, I really want this. You're like, might consider this. Because who knows anything about fences if you don't know about them?
Exactly. So when I go in and I meet with a client, my job is not to sell somebody on a fence. My job, one of the first things I'll ask somebody when they call me is, what do you need this fence for? Is this for privacy? Is this for a dog? And I have different applications for each thing. And then I say, do you want the more expensive option, the decorative option? Do you need the utility option? I have clients of all types. My job is to go in there and solve your problem. So even if another company comes in and just measures out the fence and gives you a price based on this, my job is to go in and say, hey, I know this is what you think you need. This is what I think is best for you. And go over everything with them and help them understand that, and then let them make that decision. But I want to go in and give them a solution, not sell them.
Sonia, that sounds like some marketing things. When people say
that's a nice process. That's a really nice process.
Yeah.
Right. People come and say, I want this. And we're like, well, why? Because, and then you don't want to tell them they're wrong, but sometimes it's not the best way to spend money to try to get a return.
Exactly. Imagine you went to a car dealership, and instead of them walking you to the most expensive car on the lot, they said, hey, actually, this is probably going to be the best thing for you. This is the answer to your problem. Here's the solution, and this would be the best thing. Even if it's not as beneficial to us or as profitable to us, we just want to solve that problem because that's what we want to do with our business. We want to be known as being able to help people and solve their problems because that's what we do best.
Right. And a day or two? I mean, how long does it take?
Yeah, typically, a standard fence, in your regular summertime, not these winter months, we're typically going to be in and out in one day. A larger fence will be 2 days, but we rarely go over a 2-day project for a residential home.
So what are people giving up? There's these fence companies that have been around 150 years, and they have the names people know. If someone goes with you, kind of a bit of an upstart, been doing it a little while, you got great reviews, what do they lose by going to a smaller company?
Yeah, I would say they're not losing anything. If anything, they're gaining something. They're gaining a much better communication. They're gaining somebody that cares about every single fence we put in. I can recall every single fence that any one of my teams has put in. I can recall every client, every conversation I've had with them.
They have medicine for that nowadays. That's great, though.
Yeah, I care. I care about every single person that decides to trust us with their fence project, or even decides to trust us with giving us an opportunity to come out and help try and solve their problem. Even if we're not the best person for it, I will say, hey, this company does a better job at what you're looking for. You should use them.
What materials do you like when you see a fence in a house or a home? Sonia, are you more metal, wood,
I prefer
because you're very artistic.
I prefer metal. I think it looks nicer. Personally, that's
absolutely.
just me, though.
Yeah, the black decorative aluminum is a very, very popular option.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, so your standard 4 types of fence are going to be your wood, chain link, vinyl, and aluminum. And there's your price differences. You're going to have your chain link, typically black chain link, or your black aluminum. Your black aluminum is going to be the much more decorative option. And then the same thing for your privacy options. You're going to have wood, and then you're going to have your vinyl options. And we have lots of different types of colors and design options for each one. But at the end of the day, that black aluminum or that vinyl option, they do come out stunning when we're done.
So do fences make better neighbors, Gideon?
It's like, I guess you can, if all your neighbors lived in the same house with you, you'd probably get sick of them.
Right.
So if you can have some distance with them, I'd say you might have a much better relationship. If your dog's not running into your neighbor's yard when their kids are out every day,
right,
you and your neighbor are probably going to be a lot happier.
Well, you have a very fresh perspective, a youthful energy that comes across in this. And if someone, hey, you're thinking about a fence, if you're going to go get the 3 quotes, we'll make one of them. From Gideon here at Skinner Fence. You can call them at 878-1437. You can jot that down. It's the big area code 315-878-1437, skinnerfence.com.
Yeah.
Appreciate you being here.